Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Trying to be calm, positive, have a good time going into week 16 of CFL action. Don't forget to help us out. Smash that subscribe button. Helps get the word out, helps grow the channel. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Aren't we always calm? Positive?
Not the past season.
Yeah, no. No. You can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
And don't forget to check out our show sponsor, Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, field, or in the stands with a custom airbrushed helmet, goalie mask, or any kind of project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
Yeah, and don't forget to tell them that Ray and Benny sent you.
Heck yeah, let's get right. Talking about being negative, I would I've been a real super Negatron like this whole season, and it kind of sucks just because I care so much about this team. But I should apologize to specifically like Jake Thomas for continuously bringing up his name unfairly. Man, I've never played professional football. This dude lasted so long. He's the longest reigning Bomber. I should show a lot more respect, and I do apologize. It's just hard being so negative and then getting into nitpicking things, and then I sound like an asshole because I'm calling out someone who's going to be a Bomber great. So I should sincerely apologize about that.
It's definitely tough for sure because you want to criticize, but sometimes, yeah. It's tough.
I gotta check myself, so that's why I'm having a Red Truck beer, Northwest IPA. Yay, calm me down. Let's get into it. Finally, sorry about that. Went on a little side road there. Last week we did a little conversation with fans, looked at some fan quotes. Did the same thing this week when we were talking about QB trade scenarios. Thanks for all your comments online. Probably one of the most popular online threads, especially on Facebook, which we went to, both of us this time, for all the quotes. So thanks y'all for following Ray and Benny on Facebook. If you haven't, do that. But what's one of the quotes you chose from Facebook about the Bomber trade scenario, whether you disagree with it, agree with it, or maybe it's just entertaining?
You know what? Now that I think about it, look at it, both of mine weren't actually trade scenarios.
Oh, that's okay.
But they were comments on that thread, and I got a chuckle out of this one, and It has nothing to do with guy playing at all. But this is from Kyle on Facebook, and on that thread, it says Michael Bishop begins to stir on his couch, and I got a good chuckle out of that one. Like Michael Bishop had that arm, and when he was in Winnipeg, nothing really went well for him for the most part. While he was here, but yeah, I got a chuckle out of that one.
I think that was on the Bomber trade QB trade scenario one.
Yeah. It was. Yes, for sure. I got it out of there, but I'm just like, now I'm realizing they're not trade ones, but
still, it's about that. And that's such a good one. Like people were saying Uncle Rico and some other Bomber greats. Like did Jim Zorn, did his name come up? Like
Jim Zorn? Remember. I'm pretty sure I saw Dieter on there.
Oh, yeah. Like, come on. It's getting rough. One of the Facebook quotes that I have from Rick, and actually a really good quote and something that calmed me down this week. Last time I looked, Bombers had the same 3 QBs that took them to the Cup. Just need a healthy Zach Collaros come playoffs. So thanks for the comment, Rick. And I actually do agree with some of that statement. Without a doubt, they are the same 3. And they're a strong argument that they can bring them to the Cup again. Am I going to put money on it? No. Why? Well, Zach Collaros is a year older. Having probably one of his least successful seasons since he's been a Bomber since 2019. I'm not saying that's all his fault. O-line coaching a factor as well. It also seems like Streveler has regressed. It seems like, I don't know. Again, play calling, all that stuff in the room, we don't know. And past 3 Grey Cups, Collaros hasn't been at his best. So I kind of disagree with the statement, but I like the hope and optimism. And yes, it is the 3 that brought them there.
Yeah, the one thing about Collaros too this year is the injuries are piling up this year, right? He's definitely missed more than he did last year. I mean, he took some big hits even last year, but it's definitely the injuries are piling up this year where he's missing games or getting knocked out of games. compared to last year. And one of the things I was reading today, I mean, the offense is pretty similar stats wise to last year, right? But I think the other problem is, and I knew Zach was throwing a lot of interceptions last year, but I think the interceptions and the turnovers now are turning into points the other way. Whereas last year, the defense limited those. They weren't necessarily in our end, and it's making it tough. Like, we didn't even talk about it, but Streveler's first pass last game was an interception that ended up getting for a touchdown, like a first pass of the game. And you're already putting a D in a bind. Like, you're not even giving him a chance to breathe, kind of thing. So, yeah, like you say, Zach's getting a little bit older, and it's not as crisp, and they're not using Brady Oliveira enough like they did last year. There's a reason why he was the MOP last year, right?
What's your next quote?
Mine's from John, also from Facebook. And it again, not a trade thing, but it's like, why not give Wilson a shot? And I agree with that. And we were calling for that last game and hoping to see it even this game. We don't know yet if Zach's going to play or not. He was limited today, so who knows? Maybe he's got a chance. But if at the same time, if he's out, why not give Wilson that shot?
There's no way. Like, I get it. Coach O'Shea, he didn't even consider changing to Wilson. Well, actually, I don't get it. But I get the reason why you're saying it. But, man, does anyone believe that at that point in the game, the way things were going, that Streveler was going to bring them back?
No, I didn't think it. I was basically done with that, right? The game, even though I was watching the game still, I knew there wasn't a chance the Bombers weren't coming back with Streveler in there.
Rough. My quote's from Neil. Another good one. I love all these quotes. This is the thing we're going to do every week now. Fan quotes. This is great. There must be other QBs, from Neil, than those that are already in the CFL. Or is there a rule saying we have to get a QB that is presently in the CFL? Well, there is absolutely no rule that says that you have to. I think at this point, the Bombers should be, their scouting department, whatever state that is in, should be scouring the earth for QB talent that they could possibly bring in next year or now. Like, the Bombers have been historically bad at developing QBs.
Yep.
Like Don Jones, Kenny Payne, Dieter Brock might have been the last one, to be honest with you. Like, and they bring in QBs and there's no succession plan. Like Tom Clements, Roy Duwalt didn't do very well. Tom Burgess, Matt Dunnigan, Kahari Jones, Kevin Glenn, Matt Nichols / Zach Caleros. There are gaps in between all of those players that they had to bring in from other teams where we did not have a good number 2 / succession plan other than Drew Brown.
Yeah, well, we had Danny McManus as well, right? But
hey, good one, yes, Danny McManus. Forgot about Danny McManus.
We know which way those went because the Bombers made a choice in sticking with a certain guy. And again, you can't blame them in certain sense who they stuck with. Even Zach Caleros coming off a MOP season, Grey Cup appearance and all that. It's hard. You can look back and go, yeah, they should have done it. Yeah, they probably should have, but you're not going to at that point, right? And you don't want to seem like that team where you're just going to toss a guy off to the side after he's brought you success in 2 Grey Cups, right? So, yeah, the succession plan. And what's up with Tyler Elgersma? Holy crap, do I get his name
he's
wrong?
not on the practice roster on Green Bay.
No, I don't think he's on a practice roster anywhere, as far as I can tell. So I don't know why we're not trying harder. And I guess, maybe he's waiting to hold out, but like, bring him in, get him in here for the last part of this season. At least get him accustomed to the season, to the CFL if you can, right?
Yeah,
I know he's probably got dreams of still NFL, but see if you can get something to work out there.
Yeah, they'd have to commit a lot of money to probably convince him to not pursue that any longer.
Which is a bit risky because you really don't know what you have with him yet, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot to learn still. There's a learning curve there.
Yeah.
Because we've seen other quarterbacks go to the NFL, come back, and it doesn't translate.
No, and going back to that quote or that comment there, it is hard to bring someone else that doesn't know CFL ball at this point to come in and save this season, right? No. I get it for seasons beyond, but for this season, Terry Wilson should be that guy if he had any ability, or if the Bombers thought he had any ability, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep. And the thing is, like, a lot of the terminology offensively and defensively is the same across the league. Like, come on, everyone works for almost every team.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm exaggerating, but everyone communicates. There's terminology that just is across the board, CFL recognizable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So let's move on to responding to Jason Hogan's quote about not repeating mistakes. Specifically, he says, just understand it's going to take some time. Sometimes I'm going to make mistakes. I've just got to learn from them and not repeat them. Well, like you saw me online post that if he does not want to repeat mistakes, why does he continuously not feed Oliveira in the second half? And you know what? You know what it honestly comes down to? I have no idea why, in the management level, they went with a dude who has not called plays at the collegiate or professional level. And you're trying to win a Grey Cup at home. I don't understand. That still boggles my mind, man. Why would you give the keys to the car for someone who's not driven a car this fast ever?
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. And I don't even necessarily blame Jason Hogan on this.
He's learning.
Like, he's green. He's green. He's learning. But this wasn't the season to learn. Next season could have been that season to learn.
Yes.
Right? Or another season. This wasn't it. This was a year to go all in, push your chips all in, and go for it. You had the Grey Cup at home, you know, and that thing was selling out no matter what. It's gonna sell out, right? Fans were gonna go. Bomber fans were buying those tickets already. So yeah, maybe you didn't have to worry about that, but you should have made the effort to go for it and not have this guy the weight put on his shoulders to do this, right? Because this is not a learning season at all. So to me, I don't like that, and I don't blame Hogan. I mean, he's struggling, and of course, then you got the pressure. You're reading the press, and I like it was Ed Tate that article who puts in there. It's a job that can have armchair quarterbacks raving about your handiwork. Sorry, 1 week, which was the Bombers' season opener, right?
Yep.
And then cursing your name the next. Basically, we've been cursing his name since that home opener.
Absolutely.
Right? We were raving about him after that first game against BC, again with Streveler as your quarterback.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, this is going to work out well. But since then, I don't know what he has learned from there. And like I said, the stats are pretty much the same or close to last year. Like the Bombers are in the same spot league-wide, almost as they were last year with Buck Pierce at the helm. The one that got me is the Bombers are first in rushing per game, 117 yards. 0.6 yards per game. And that's with Brady only getting, and I know it's a full team yardage for everything, but that's only with Brady getting 12 carries per game.
Yep.
Right? Saskatchewan, BC, all that, AJ, Ouellette, Butler are at least 14 carries per game. And it's only a 2 carry difference. But over the course of a season, that adds up. You know, those guys are way more carries than Brady Oliveira, even though Brady Oliveira leads the league at a 5.6 carry per yard per average. Exactly. So what you're saying is, what you said was, why aren't they using him late in this game in the second half? That's where I get at Jason Hogan, because why aren't you using the best player on the field consistently throughout the game?
And is Coach O'Shea so hands off to let this guy learn that he's not in his ear? And by the middle of the third quarter being, we have the reigning MOP, maybe put the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and Hogan's been here for a while. Jarius Jackson is still kind of new. And as far as I know, he's the quarterback coach. Is he not, Jarius Jackson?
Correct.
Right. So he's not necessarily telling him, hey, you should be running the ball here. And he's probably not that kind of, it's not the same dynamic as, say, Richie Hall and Jordan Younger was.
Yes.
Whereas Jordan Younger in that first year was probably leaning on Richie Hall, and Richie Hall was saying, hey, you should do this in this situation. Right. And Jarius Jackson, yes, he has more experience, but he's not, he's not the guru that kind of Richie Hall was. For Hogan to lean on, but it's just like you probably needed someone there, at least that Hogan could lean on in this situation, be like, hey man, I'm struggling with this kind of stuff. What can I do here? But yeah, there was nothing there, no support for him from what I could tell.
He does have someone to lean on, and he has an office in the building, and his name is Jarius Jackson.
But what's the dynamic there, right? Jarius Jackson, yes, he's been in the league longer than Hogan, but he hasn't been coaching offensively. Like he was in Edmonton, yes, he was the offensive coordinator, but how much years of experience? He doesn't have the Richie Hall type of experience.
Jerry's Jackson was a quarterback in this league for years and years and years on many different franchises with many different offensive coordinators. This dude gets plays called in his ear on the daily and practices on the daily and has to know what everyone's job is on the line as a quarterback.
Well, something is not working out there in that dynamic then, because either Hogan is not leaning on him or listening to him, or what. I don't know, but it's frustrating to know that if you have that option, why aren't you using it?
Yep. Let's move on to this week with actually a good matchup for the Bombers. They match up well with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and they need this win, but it's in Ottawa. So let's look at the Bomber blueprint. What do they need to do, offense, defense, special teams, to get out of there with a win? What do you got for offense?
Probably the same thing we've been repeating. For one, the O-line has to play well. If it's Streveler in there, Zach Larlos in there, whichever, the O-line needs a very good game. They need to protect that quarterback. And obviously, hey, we got to get Brady involved early and Brady involved late. He needs at least 20 carries or 20 touches in this game. You know, it's simple as that. You know, for us, it's as simple as that, right? And then, you know, involve your wide receivers that have been playing well. Claricius, Wheatfall, get these guys going. You know, I know in Ontario, since Ontario Wilson has come back, they've kind of ignored those guys a little bit, but you got to get them involved in this game and trust in those guys that they can get the job done as well. Make Ottawa worry about those 4 receivers and not just Wilson or Dembski.
I think they got to convert on second down. Ottawa gives up the highest average yards on first down at 6.1 yards. That means teams are consistently at second and mid or second and short. But Ottawa, I think, on second down, allowing teams to get that first down, they're 47%. So they're no joke. So use a hurry-up offense early. Kick their ass. Beat them down with a heavy set. Like, how many times did we see the Bombers use the QB option where he puts the ball in the belly and maybe takes it and goes the other side? Or an option where he goes on the off the tackle, and then you have maybe Brady Oliveira going there and maybe pitch it out or something like that. They got to be creative with this running game, and they got to use the hurry up. Like, fine, you use it last game with 2 minutes left, but use it at the beginning. Get them off pace, catch Ottawa off guard, and get those first downs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hit some deep balls too, because you got to keep that Ottawa defense honest, right? Because we saw that, like we talked about, the hurry up offense was all short passes for Streveler, and the teams will give him that, especially late in the game. But you have to make them honest and hit those shots downfield.
Brother, we know that option is not available too much with Streveler. And we saw it, though, in the first game. He hit guys deep in the end zone, in the back of the end zone and the corner route. You know what? Maybe what was different in week 1 than these past couple games that Streveler has started, maybe they had a slimmer playbook. Maybe there weren't too many options. Maybe they really leaned on the running game and set up what they had in the past with that. Because those deep balls were in areas where Bombers, for sure, they would have ran the ball.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Why am I seeing this? I'm a know-nothing fan, bro. Why? See, I got to calm down again.
Yeah, we got to get positive again.
We got to calm down again. But yeah, please use a hurry up and use a heavy set. Beat the hell out of Ottawa's defense. Speaking of defense, you know, I made a joke earlier on Twitter, kind of a joke about Jordan Younger being diplomatic about what he said about the defense needs to get turnovers to match the up. Like, no, you don't really. You did your job.
Yeah.
And maybe kind of underhandedly, he's saying, hey, offense, don't turn the ball over, which is sound advice. But defense, I think they got to get to Dustin Crum early and often. And maybe those will cause the turnovers because Ottawa's offensive line is not very good in QB protection. Like, please don't do the 3-man rush again. Please don't do that. Send 4 at least, because this is your opportunity. And what's his name is out? Standback is out, right?
Yeah.
So you got a good Canadian running back that put like 90 plus yards on Calgary, but this is an opportunity with that weapon Standback out to really put the pressure on Crum.
Do we know for sure if it's Crum or Brown?
Is Brown gonna go for sure?
I know. I mean, he was backup last game. But I mean, Crum's coming off 2 straight games against BC where he put up 300 yards. Like, personally,
has gone, those numbers.
Yeah.
Here's the numbers: 88 for 113, 78% since he entered the game against Winnipeg a few weeks ago. 1,010 yards, 4 TDs to 0 interceptions. Good luck with those turnovers.
Yeah, I would almost rather play Doug Brown, right? Or Doug Brown, Drew Brown.
Well, me too, Doug Brown, quarterback.
I wish Doug Brown was a quarterback over there.
Much love, great lineman. But
Drew Brown, I'd rather face almost Drew Brown than Dustin Crum, because Crum's been a bomber killer, right?
Yes,
we saw him the comeback. What was last season or the season before,
2
or whatever
years ago
it was
in Ottawa?
Yeah, and then this season where he almost brought them back. And like you say, never mind the 300 yards in the last 2 games that he's thrown. He has run for 50 plus.
Yep.
In both of those games, and I think over 60 in one of them. So I'm worried about him, and you're saying this 4-man rush, but at the same time, you're gonna probably have to leave some kind of spy in there to keep an eye on Crum as well.
Harry Wilson.
Yeah, to make sure that he does not run when there's nothing there and get those first downs. So the Bombers are really. This is going to be a tough game for the defense, because you have to be aware of that running ability, and somehow he's all of a sudden tossing that ball like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, like I don't think we can. The Bombers aren't good enough at this point where we can call it a trap game, but there is a difference in record where it could still be a trap game.
Yeah.
Don't go in there too confident. I'm sure they're not, but still.
Yeah, and I feel for Jordan Younger there, because if your quarterback is throwing, quarterbacks are throwing 2 to 4 interceptions a game, you want to match that, but you're not doing it when you can only get 1. But you shouldn't have to match it, because we have to take care of the ball better on offense. That we're not putting the defense in these terrible positions. Let them get that feel. Like, if you have to punt, you have to punt.
Yes,
right. Pin them back there and make that Ottawa team go the full length of the field, not 30, 40 yards to put a touchdown on. So that's the thing. Going back to the Bomber offense, they need to play a clean game.
What do you got on special teams?
Not a lot, really, because we know what we got there, but it's just, we saw what Khalil Pimpleton did last time.
Yes.
He worries me. Stop the guy.
Do not give the man the opportunity to embarrass you.
Yep.
Because he will.
Yeah, he will.
Bomber fans, put your comments in the comment section below. Smash that subscribe button. We can't thank y'all enough for all your great comments. We'll probably be doing this again next week, so feel free. The comment section was hot this week about that QB thing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go into CFL talk. CFL fans, smash that subscribe button. Thank you for all your support this week. This week has been crazy. Thank you all, everyone. What is the Week 16 high stakes matchup? I'm going to go with Montreal-Toronto. 1 game separates them. And Toronto, like, Montreal has this season series, yeah? It's already 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
So Toronto can't win the series. They have to be a game ahead to even host the Eastern Final. And then this kind of puts them in a tough position in regards to the crossover. This is heavy Toronto if they lose. And Montreal, they're starting to feel it. Like you said, they are dangerous. They're a dangerous team coming back with some healthy players. Phil Pott looked amazing with 3 last names. So, and you know who Toronto has to finish their season? Montreal, BC, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, Calgary. So they need to win this game. So that's my heavy stakes matchup. Yikes.
As a Bomber fan, I like that schedule for Toronto.
True. True.
The more games they can lose, the better, right? Right now, the Bombers only have a 1 game up on Toronto. I know they're still in 3rd in the West, but I'm more worried because I'm thinking that crossover is probably where the Bombers are going to get in.
You like to have that option.
Yeah. And looking at this schedule this week, and there's some good ones, right? They all have implications in certain ways, right? Especially for the Bombers, right? We want the Owls to win this game. Lions, Stamps, you want the Stamps to win that game. And I know, yes, we want to have that opportunity to maybe have the West Final at home, but you already lost a tiebreaker against Calgary. So I'm more worried about just getting in the playoffs at this point. And then you got the Elks and the Ticats, right? Because then if the Ticats can beat the Elks, hey, that pushes the Elks back a bit. But I have to go
Are you
with
taking
Winnipeg.
all three matchups?
No,
The ones I
I'm
did
just
not
talking
take?
about them quickly. But
Holy damn.
I'm going with Winnipeg, Ottawa, because it's a big game as a Bomber fan. It's a big game for the Bombers.
Hell yeah.
Right? Because if you lose this game, all of a sudden now Ottawa's only one game behind you. Also, if you lose this game and BC wins, Edmonton wins, it's interesting at that point because now you're tied with Edmonton for that last spot. I know they got this slim tiebreaker right now because they haven't played that second game, but Winnipeg's got a tough schedule to finish out here as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. So the Bombers really need this game. So I'm expecting this game to be a tough one, and for me, that's the high stake matchup of the week.
CFL fans, put your high stakes matchup of the week in there. Offense, defense, special teams, CFL. Who's in line to have monster games this week? Offense, who you got?
I'm going with Vernon Adams. Time for revenge, for his revenge on BC for choosing Nathan Rourke over him. And I don't blame BC for doing that, but more so last season when they benched Adams to play Nathan Rourke, even though he was struggling. So I expect a big one out of Vernon Adams and to hang up some good numbers on BC. Plus, BC's D is pretty shaky.
Oh, they're garbage. They're hot trash. But Betts is getting hot in sacks.
4 sacks last week.
I'm going to go offense, Justin Rankin. I think he'll go nuts on Hamilton. They are horrible against the run, worst in the league, and this guy is just an offensive machine, not just running the ball, but catching the ball. I think it is a great possibility for him to hit 200 yards. Let's move on to defense. I'm going to go with Adeyemi from Montreal. I think he's in line to have a solid game. Toronto allows the most sacks in the league in the CFL. Or he's co-leader now with, what's his name? Adeyemi's co-leader with Betts, we just talked about. That crazy game. So I think the opportunities will be there, especially with the new quarterback, Doge, or Dogie or whatever. So I think he'll add some tallies, maybe 2 sacks. Good week for him.
Yeah, I'm with Montreal here as well. I'm going with Tyrese Beverette, who last week season high 10 defensive tackles. And like you just said, Jared Doge, a little green out there. So I feel like Tyrese Beverette is going to take advantage of that and help lead that Montreal defense.
Montreal's going to be hot this week. Special teams player, who do you got?
Unfortunately, I went back to him and I'm going with Khalil Pimpleton.
Yes.
I didn't want to pick him, but he's scaring me for this game.
Especially if Streveler's playing, because you know there'll be punts.
Oh, yes.
Like, again, I don't want to be negative, but man, we need Zach Caleros to have a chance to move forward. Like we know at least the number 2 quarterback situation ain't working. Is it number 3? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll never know, probably.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it is.
And there's people like criticizing Mike O'Shea about what he says in the media about him, not thinking of putting whatever Wilson in, not being blasé. Dude is never going to this guy's a poker player, like supreme. He will never show his hand.
We didn't talk about it, but I don't like his comment about the 2019. You don't realize.
Go for it. Yes, go for that comment.
What Streveler did for us in 2019. It's like, dude, we know. We appreciate it. We love it. Like Streveler's still the guy in the fur coat, bare chested, like out there, man. Like that was fantastic. I will celebrate him for life on that.
Yeah.
But it's not 2019 anymore. And really, he had a part in that run. He wasn't the main guy. Yep. You traded for Zach Collaros. Zach Collaros was the reason we ended up getting there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we get there with Streveler leading the way, or even Matt Nichols if Matt Nichols got hurt.
No,
didn't get hurt. Sorry. So to me, it's like, man, I appreciate that. But we're how many years later now? 6 years?
5, 6, yeah.
5 seasons, I guess, because the missed season. But we're beyond
2024 for a second.
Yeah, we're beyond that. Yeah. And you have to realize that too. We're not shitting on Streveler because he helped us in the past. He's not getting the job done right now. And that's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about today. We're fans. We're concerned about today.
Well, the opportunity was there in 2019. He did get a start or 2.
Yeah, and he got hurt, right? I mean, his ankle was busted.
That's right.
So,
yes.
Like he played on that. And again, we appreciate it. He did a great job getting it. Not only in that Grey Cup game, helping us getting past Calgary, right? It was a combined effort just to get down there. We're never going to forget that.
No. But we talked about that the past couple of weeks, that this guy has the ability to get guys going. He is a leader, but it's not, that isn't right now translating into the numbers they need to win.
No, and it's more of a limited role where he can do that, right? He's not doing that over the course of a game, 2 games, 3 games, right? You're gonna have your ups and downs with Streveler.
Yep.
But as a part-time role, yeah, fantastic.
Let's go into week 16 predictions with some scores. Montreal, Toronto. I got Montreal 25, Toronto 13. Montreal might be starting to peak at the right time, and Toronto unfortunately lost their MOP candidate quarterback, Arbuckle, to injury at the worst possible time. So Montreal 25, Toronto 13.
I got Montreal 32 because Toronto's defense is something. I'm going to give 21 to Toronto. Probably a little bit more than they're probably going to get with Jared Doge at the helm. But yeah, I feel like 3 last names is going to go hog wild over his old team in this game, like he did last week against Saskatchewan.
BC Calgary, who do you got?
I got the Stamps 28-17. I think the Stamps, and no James Butler for BC either. I think the Stamps D will cause enough havoc for Nathan Rourke to kind of limit that offense.
I got Calgary 33, BC 27. I think BC does have still a good passing game that they can lean on. I don't even know who their backup running back is. Should have looked into that one. But yeah. Calgary might come out slow due to the bye, but they'll warm up and they'll win at home. Winnipeg 25, Ottawa 27. Winnipeg venturing to Ottawa, which Streveler does not have me excited. I will change this in a second to Winnipeg 33, Ottawa 27 if Caleros is there. But I think O'Shea's patience will be tested. And if they do lose, it's either they turn it around or they stay the course and we watch with anxiety. That's more than one sentence. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, that was a few.
Paragraph.
Man, our scores are close in this one. I got Ottawa 28, Winnipeg 24. And I feel like this time Ottawa won't need a crumb back to win this game, because I don't think I'd ever really say this, but I'm kind of worried about Crum in this game and him taking advantage of that D.
Again, with Bombers historically, they've not groomed a quarterback, and they haven't been lately good against backup quarterbacks.
Yes, that too. Yes.
Who do you got at Edmonton, Hamilton to finish off CFL Week 16?
Well, I got a good outcome here for the Bombers, at least. I got the Ticats 26, Edmonton 18. Yeah, I think Hamilton will get the job done, and they'll get one step closer, and they may even get that spot where they'll clinch a playoff spot soon.
I think this might be the only one we don't have the same result. I got Edmonton 33, Hamilton 28. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Justin Rankin goes nuts, 200 yards, maybe a couple TDs. And I think due to last game, Fajardo, who is actually usually pretty decent at protecting the ball, I think that'll be the focus this week, establishing the running game. And I think due to that, they beat Hamilton's ass, 33-28. CFL fans, put your scores below, put your comments below. If we're wrong, tell us. We don't mind that. Put the comments in all social media. We can't thank y'all enough for such a great week of interactive conversation, whatever you'd call it.
Yep.
Benny, what do you have to say to our friends?
You know what? Again, thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow, and go Bombers go.
And in the words of Ed Whalen, because it's still Cowtown. Man, I'm missing my Bomber season tickets. I know they're not doing well, and they're not playing home this week, but I miss that. I miss the building behind you. So in the meantime, and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.